My wife and I are equal partners in our marriage. We both clean, cook, and care for our kids. I'm not boasting, just telling how our marriage is, because I've read this sub enough. I know some will try to spin it to make it seem like my wife does everything and I do nothing, or I want to be praised. I don't, I'm just giving info. We alternate who stays home when the kids are sick. The exception is if one of us has something we need to be at work for. Our son was sick and it was my turn to stay home. About 1 o'clock I got a call that one of my patients, I'm a cardiologist, was in emergency room and needed to go to the catheterization laboratory, and I was needed to do the cath. There are only 2 of us in town that can do the procedures. It looked like this patient needed me and a doctor who was out of town. If we are both out of town, the patient is shipped to a hospital 90 minutes away. I called my wife and asked if she could come home. She said no, she was about to have a brainstorming meeting with her team. I asked if she could do that via video conferencing at the home office as my son was sleeping. I explained about the patient and she held firm that no, she wasn't coming home. I called my mom and asked her to come to sit with my son so I could go in. It was a bad case. We coded the guy twice, the procedure took longer than normal, we almost had to call in the surgeon to open him, but we were able to get him stabilized and up to cardiac intensive care unit. I checked my phone after and saw multiple missed calls/texts from my wife. She was livid when she came home and my mom was there. My mom was a stay-at-home mom and my wife feels like my mom silently judges her for working as much as she does. She doesn't. She is really proud of my wife and is always bragging about her amazing daughter-in-law to friends. When I got home we fought. I was exhausted and told her I was sorry she was upset, but I had a responsibility to my patient which she didn't take well, and said I have a responsibility to her and our family. I agreed but added that I wasn't shirking that responsibility by going to work. Which only angered her more because she thought I was saying she shirked her responsibility to family. After about 15 minutes of back and forth I finally just said, look, you couldn't come home because of a meeting and I couldn't stay home because someone was dying. We both made decisions and, son, was taken care of. She thought I was saying my job was more important than hers, and when I didn't reply she took my silence to mean that I agreed. I conceded that yes, that afternoon, me going in was more important than her meeting to plan a marketing campaign for the local dealership. She left and went for a run. I started making dinner and we avoided one another all evening. This morning she texted that I was an idiot for going in and thinking her job wasn't important. I try to be aware that job, family balance is unfair for women because of society's expectations. I tried to put myself in my wife's shoes, but I don't think I'm an idiot. My sister says I am because of the aforementioned imbalance for women. Update: my wife had a bad day yesterday. Her boss got onto her because an employee she supervises dropped the ball and almost lost a big account for the company. My wife had to take over that account. Her boss's boss was also in the office and told the entire team off for subpar work. She was stressed and under pressure all day. On her way home she picked up soup for our son, but when she got home my mom had already made him soup and was baking cookies with our daughters and telling them funny stories, and my wife felt guilty and unneeded. My wife was still feeling angry and tense this morning and had lunch with her mentor who helped her talk through things, and she also saw her therapist. She sees a therapist for anxiety and we see a marriage counselor about once a month for check-ins. She apologized when she came home and explained she was already feeling bad about not being home, was stressed because of her day at work, wanted to relieve me so I could go attend to my patient, which all led to her guilty feelings of being a working mom. She's soaking in a bath now, our son is feeling better, and my patient is still on a ventilator but holding his own. Not the idiot. Your wife and sister need to stop making this about gender. Clearly, your situation was more important. If you hadn't gone and the patient died, would she like to explain to the family of the patient the reason their family member is dead is because of a brainstorming meeting? Your wife sounds insecure about her role in your life and her job. No idiots here. It's tough raising a kid. It's tough being married to someone whose job is more respected than yours. You guys could work on better communication, and maybe have firm plans if neither of you can miss work, and that would make your relationship better, but 2 working parents, this is sadly pretty normal. Not the idiot. Your wife's insecurities aren't more important than someone's life. You were the only one in town who could do the procedure. You had to go. It sounds like you had originally stayed home and were called in later. I think you trying to take the day shows enough initiative for balance. Going in when someone could die without you was the right call. So my teenage daughter, call her M, has been best friends with her best friend, call her K, for about a year now. They became friends right after K moved here. It's been a year and I've barely ever spoken to her parents. She's often sleeping at our home to the point where I decided to just buy another bed and put it in my daughter's room for when she stays. I am a very relaxed parent and so is my husband. As long as our kids are doing their best, we don't really set too many boundaries. And because Kay is basically my fourth child, I do the same for her, at least while she's at my house. So a few days ago the girls come home and they asked me if Kay could dye her hair pink in the bathroom. I asked to see her grades and she showed me. She was doing well and I said sure, I didn't care. I honestly just assumed she had already asked her actual parents and just wanted to see if it was okay to use the bathroom since Em got green dye everywhere when she did it. I told them to just clean it up after and they said okay. So fast forward to today when I get a very angry phone call from Kay's mother. She demanded to know why I told Kay she could dye her hair pink. I told her I said it was alright she used my bathroom to dye her hair pink. She went off on me about my parenting choices. She criticized my decision to let my daughter get piercings, a tattoo, or dye her hair and told me she wasn't going to let my bad parenting influence her child anymore. I kind of just laughed and reminded her I was basically the one parenting Kay for the last year. I reminded her I fed her almost every day, paid for her to go on vacation, gave her a roof to sleep under 25 days out of a 30-day per month and so much more. This only got her angrier and she claimed that that was all over as well as Kay and M's friendship. Before I could say anything else she hung up on me. I've tried to call her and explain and apologize for the situation escalating but she has blocked me. My daughter and Kay are both distraught and I feel awful for them both. I'm not really sure what to do or if I'm even really in the wrong here. Am I really an idiot here? Not the idiot. I'm surprised by all the "you are an idiot" comments. At 17, it wouldn't have even occurred to me to ask my mother whether I could dye my hair. And it seems to me that if Kay had the type of mom who'd flip out, then she should have checked with her mom. Maybe you got a little too real with Kay's mom, but my God, the woman deserved it. Not the idiot. It is kind of a bad thing that you didn't call Kay's mom to make sure she had permission, but you aren't an idiot for keeping that kid safe and fed. Try to continue being there for her. I remember when my best friend stayed with me most nights because of family stuff and she'll always be grateful she had a safe place to be. Not the idiot. The key isn't the neglectful parenting, and I would expect her to be permanently moving in at this point, which she can do at 17, but the fact that she dyed her hair several days ago, and then several days later it was finally noticed. You did get real. Her emotions are not your problem. Time to teach your fourth child how to handle dysfunctional people. This happened a few years ago, but every year around the holidays I think of it. I still don't know how to feel. I am a single mom. I was going through a very rough financial patch around Christmas one year, so my sister said she'd take care of Christmas presents for my kids and would let me label them for me and Santa Claus. My kids were 14, 12, and 5 at the time. I was extremely grateful, of course. A few days before Christmas she had me come over to look at the stuff and help wrap it. 14-year-old son got books, video games, a nice pair of shoes he'd been asking for, pajamas, and stuff to decorate his room. 12-year-old daughter got one book, a bath set, and a pair of pajamas. 5-year-old daughter got a bike, clothes, and 10 plus toys. The amount of stuff my oldest and youngest got compared to my middle kid was a lot. Not even thinking, I blurted out, "Is this all 12 years got?" My sister was really offended and laid into me about how I shouldn't have the audacity to ask for more stuff when she provided my kids with their entire Christmas. I apologized for my bluntness but said there was no way I could give my other kids all of that stuff while my middle kid got 3 things that she didn't even ask for nor need. The book was okay, but she didn't really need a bath stuff or pajamas. And it was just a single book compared to the stack that my son was receiving. I asked if we could take some of the toys back because it was way too many for the 5-year-old and use that money towards 12-year-old. She said it'd be the last time she ever offered to do something nice for me because of my entitlement. I told her that's fine and she doesn't have to buy anything else, but some of those toys have to go back, period. I'm not going to have one kid opening 15 presents while the other is opening 3. She ended up taking some of the toys back and didn't show up on Christmas Day to see them open like planned. Was I an idiot for doing that? My middle daughter was hitting puberty hard and was really emotional at the time, so I knew it would make her feel bad if she was left watching her siblings opening gifts after she only had 3. You are the idiot, for how you reacted. You said you apologized for your bluntness, but it was already said. You proceeded to make your sister do more work by having her return it and buy more for your 12 years. I see your sister's perspective. If you said, I think my 12 years would be sad if she only gets to open 3 presents while the rest have more. Can you return some presents so each child has 3 presents to open each? But to make your sister feel bad or do more work than she already had, OP, you are the idiot. I think I'll have to go everyone's the idiot here. I definitely think that your sister dropped the ball on getting your middle child comparable gifts to her siblings, but you were definitely acting entitled in how you expressed that to her. As she said, she was doing you a big favor and this all came out of pocket for her. I can understand how the first words out of your mouth being a seeming complaint that she didn't get enough would be hurtful, especially when she was probably expecting a little gratitude. Not the idiot, that would have been a huge blow for your 12-year-old. Did she ever give a reason why? Did she just not pay attention to how much she was spending on each, or was this a clear show of favoritism or active dislike of the 12-year-old? Whatever her excuse, you were right to take a stand for your daughter. That would have been extremely hurtful and quite a blow for her self-esteem. So stop worrying about your choice and feeling guilty about it. You have nothing to feel guilty about. You were a good mama. A regular offered me $100 to take a shot with him. He has been drinking at the bar I worked at for over 10 years. I worked there for 4 years. I made a shot with sour mix and cranberry to match the color of his, so he thought I was taking one. I just want to make extra money. My manager happened to see this on the cameras. There is a strict no drinking policy at this bar for bartenders on the clock, and it's a new manager who is trying to show her authority, so she made an example of me and fired me. There is no way to prove there wasn't booze in my shot. I saw the footage, and with the liquor gun we have right next to the pop gun, there is no way to prove I didn't put liquor in that shot. I honestly don't and didn't care enough to argue with her about it. I'm about to start a new job since I'm graduating from school after this semester, and I am not too concerned about my future in bartending. I trained basically every new person at this bar, and I was honest with them that I was fired in our workgroup chat. They all started saying, if you got fired for that, we don't want to work here either. They were all saying bad things about the manager and how they want to screw the whole bar over by all quitting at the same time. I told them that our new manager is balls to the walls. I said I'm going to be just fine, but not to make the same mistake and drink anything out of a shot glass because she is that concerned about it. I also told them to think for themselves and do whatever they need to when it comes to their jobs. I then let my anger overtake me and I said, if you want to find a job where you don't have to be constantly looking over your back and have to be worried about an insane manager, find different bartending and serving jobs. You're all capable people that don't deserve a stranger watching over you when you've put good time into a workplace. I basically contradicted myself. I feel like I went over the top. My sister said I should have kept my mouth shut. But I explained the whole situation to the old manager, who taught me to mix things together to look like booze so people don't feel rejected when they buy you shots trick. She thinks it's crazy the new manager won't trust me after training so many people in, and my old manager loves me. My old manager quit because she was moving away with her fiancé, but she told the new manager that I was trustworthy, and I thought the new manager would have some trust considering I was basically running the bar when she came in. Whatever the case, am I an idiot for letting a lot of employees quit on my behalf? Because as of now 7/10 bartenders where I was fired from are planning a group quit. I don't want the bar to close, but I want my manager to realize that she messed up. Not the idiot. The juice in a shot glass is such a well-known bartending trick that the new manager clearly doesn't understand the job they signed up for. You don't owe them anything. You could help every single individual get a new job behind that manager's back and you still wouldn't be an idiot. New managers on an extreme power trip have sabotaged more than a few happy workplaces. I was basically running the place when she got there. This is your problem. She didn't happen to just be running through the tapes, she was looking for a reason to fire you because, through no fault of your own and probably just in her head, your continued existence was undermining her in the power structure. Also, not the idiot, your coworkers are responsible for their own decisions on this. You are the idiot. First, you didn't let anyone quit, that's a ridiculous framing. Don't imagine yourself as being able to force these people to stay or quit by your mere command. They made their own choices. Second, sorry, but I'm with the manager on this one. Sure, it's awful for you personally, but she was doing her job and she saw you violating a rule on the camera. You took a risk and that's the consequence. She didn't mess up, you did. A few months ago, my 21 friend, 23, joked that she wanted a surprise party for her birthday. I winked at her and said I could make that happen. She seemed excited and said she'd probably forget by the time it was her birthday, so it would be a surprise. A couple of weeks before her birthday, she jokingly asked how her surprise party planning was going. Before I could answer, she said, now I'm pretty sure you're going to do it, which makes it not a surprise. So I said, oh sorry, I forgot to plan it, and I kind of thought you were joking. Because I wanted it to be a surprise. She seemed upset but didn't say anything else. A week before her birthday party, she falls out with me because I was talking to her brother and didn't tell her about it. I didn't tell her about it because I like him and I didn't want the pressure, I just wanted to get to know him. But I see why she's upset. I'm away that week for work, so I don't see her all week. I tried to call her twice but she didn't answer. The day before her birthday, I text her and ask if we can talk because I want us to make up. I apologize and ask her to call me. She says that I've been avoiding her all week and that I don't care, so she doesn't want to talk to me. I say okay, sorry again, hope you have a good birthday and that we speak soon. Her birthday comes round, and her surprise birthday party goes ahead without me. I asked another friend to take over and execute it. She didn't want to talk to me or be friends with me and I didn't want her to see me and be mad or feel forced to make up with me, but I still wanted her to have a good time. So I was sad but fine with not going if it meant she had a good birthday. That night, she finds out that I planned the party. She calls me, and she's angry that I'm not there. She says it would have been the perfect moment to make up and that she saw how much I cared about her and wanted to make up. She also says I made her look like an idiot because she had to explain to everyone that even though I planned the party, I wasn't there because she fell out with me. I'll probably show her this, by the way. Whichever answer it is. Not the idiot, you were literally respecting her wishes by her saying she doesn't want to talk to you. And then she gets mad that you did that? You were nice enough to keep the surprise birthday on and didn't tell any of the other friends about the drama. Also, no idea why she'd be mad you were talking to her brother, but that's a different thing. Definitely show her this. Not the idiot. If she really wanted you there that badly, what was stopping her from calling you on the spot? She has your number. Friendship is a two-way street, and you're the one who's been making all the effort while she's been pointing fingers and trying to play the victim. She owes you an apology for sure. Don't fall for the guilt trip, that's being manipulative. Not the idiot. She sounds exhausting and immature on multiple levels. From expecting you, a grown adult, to keep her informed when you want to talk to her brother, also a grown adult, to not even being gracious about how you threw her a surprise party. I wouldn't bother wanting to reconcile or even to talk to her again. Even if you show her this thread, I doubt she'll get it.